Hello, folks. I am back, and I'm here to talk about the HK VP9. I think that the HK VP9 is in dire need for an upgrade, facelift, whatever you want to call it. But before I start that video, I want to thank all of you for who's been following my channel since it started. A lot of you subscribed, left decent comments. I greatly appreciate it. And when I do post, a lot of times I'll post stuff that is either on that I see in the news or whatnot that's 2A related. That's what I'm gonna do. Some people might think it's propaganda related, but that's what I do. It's a gun channel, so it is what it is. So let me also mention that I have a product review coming. It's going to be on this. This is the silencer coat gas defeating charging handle. So I will be testing this this week. Video should come out at the end of the week. So I just got to clean up one of my firearms. It's going to be on. I'm going to put this on my Daniel Defense V7P, which is the pistol version, because my charging handle on that was just pretty much the stock mil-spec version. So I'll keep you posted on that, and I'll give you further information. All right, let's get back to the regular topic. The regular topic is going to be on the VP9. I really think that it needs an upgrade. And the upgrade here that you would need on this particular firearm, it's starting to get dated and get pretty much old, or what they called old in the tooth or whatnot. By the way, this firearm is unloaded. And I'm going to show you that to show clear for those people who get upset. But this is a clear firearm, and it is my VP9. Now, I wasn't always a different type of striker fire person. I've shot Glocks for so many years that I believed that Glock was the only striker fire pistol out there. But later on, I discovered the VP9, and it is currently one of my favorite striker fire firearms. And I've been carrying this a lot. I shoot this a lot, and I really like this firearm, but it is in dire need of some upgrades. And what you see here, a lot of times the VP9 suffered some issues with, a lot of times it's reported that the slide doesn't hold back and so forth, and that's because they used springs in there that were made for 40 Smith & Wesson. They put that in the 9mm versions, which this is a 9mm as well. So sometimes people didn't get a lockback. I think that HK should have just had designated springs, 9mm for 9mm, 40 for 40. You get the point. So like I said, I really like this firearm, but it is in need of some upgrades. I think they could have changed, let's say, the serrations here in the front, and if I can get that cleared up, serrations here in the front, I think they could make them a little deeper, and maybe some other changes on the slide. Now, H&K has revamped some of this, but they were only minute touches, and you know how HK is. They're just going to give you a little bit and let you suffer a little bit. Recently, they put in optic cuts. This is the one before the optic cuts came out, and they gave you that. The magazines that originally came with this were, and I'm showing this now, this is the 15 round mags. So they upgraded this to the 17 round magazines, but why should you have, they should have done this a long time ago, knowing that the Glocks were at 17 round capacity. So that's what they did. They finally upgraded with an optic, increased the magazine size. Another thing that that HK did, I'm going to take this apart off camera. Don't want any problems with the YouTube police. And as you see here, there's a slide that I'm going to put on. This is the long slide. And the long slide was offered by hkparts.net. Now, they made this what they call their semi-competition firearm. Made it a longer slide. It came with the barrel. It also came with the spring. So as you see here, at the time when you purchased this, you bought the slide, you bought the extended magazine, which I believe is 20 rounds right here. So Now, after all those years, maybe 2 years, it took them like 3 years later to make a long slide version. And of course, you know, they jacked up the price on that. Also on the VP9 SK, what they did was they made a bigger magazine for that for 13 round capacities because they used to have the smaller 10 round magazine. So these are some of what they gave you as enhancements to the VP9, which really isn't much. They get, in my opinion, they gave you just a little teaser, and I don't think that's fair to the consumer. I think they should have come out with something revamped and new. So let me give you an example. If you see here, this is the PDP. The PDP, at least Walther thought enough to, knowing that the grip texture they needed to change, they changed the grip texture. They made it optic ready. This firearm was made to be for optics, and that's what they did. Little controversy on the optic thing. I'm not getting into it, but at least Walther at least tried to revamp the entire firearm. HK has not. They left the slides and everything pretty much the same and said, "Here, hey, you got an optic now. You got and you got a little bit of capacity." Let me just bring this up. One of the things I think they could do at this point, changed. I like the fact that the VP9 had those multiple grip panels. You had the grip panels on the side and the backs, and you can make over 20 some configurations for your hand and whatnot. I like that they do that. And the VP9 did come out with a button version. I'm not a fan of the buttons versions on this firearm. I like the paddles. But one of the things that I like about this is when I holster this, because it's thin profile at the top here on the slide, I like that pretty much because I can get it close into the body with the let's say a holster that I'm using from Harry's holster or whatnot. It contours to the body very well. Now, if you look at the Walther PDP, this slide right here is, a lot of people complain about the slide on the Walther. See how thick that slide is going widthwise. Now, if you look at the VP9, the slide is not as wide, but the advantage the Walther have is these serrations here. So if HK would come out with something with maybe keeping this and maybe with a wider, not wider, but a more pronounced serrations for the back and rear, maybe that it would help upgrade this firearm. Also, I think what they need to do is also with the grip area, not necessarily copy off of what Walther did with the grip, but I think they need to do something that the grip, that it would be better gripping instead of you having to stipple the firearm, or whether you have to use Talon grips or whatever the case may be. The other thing is the Magwell area. I would like to see them make a different type of Magwell area, but however, I think it should be compatible with all their magazines. So don't just make a firearm with a Magwell, then people have to buy all new magazines because they changed the Magwell situation so badly that they have people have to scrounge and buy new magazines. So I think that's what they should do. Change the Walther up a little bit, just to bring it. Excuse me, not change the Walther, but change the HK VP9 a little bit. And I think that would bring this up to par with other firearms. The trigger, I never really had too much of a problem with the trigger. I like the trigger, but because basically it's pretty much flat in here, and then when you press this safety dingus here, it goes, I'm going to try to get this real close. I'm not pointing the camera at myself. At least it goes flush in. Unlike the Glock triggers, you can still get a pinch. I think what they can do is maybe make a trigger that is a little bit more, let's say, a lighter trigger, but with a crisper break. I mean, like, you have a good break here, your reset is pretty good right here. But I think that reset can be a little shorter, and I can think that the brake could be a little cleaner. So I think they can upgrade that at that point. Uh, like I said, with the Walther has made their upgrades pretty much. As you see, the borax on that Walther is extremely high. So a lot of people have complained about the borax uh, on the VP9, but it is not as bad as the Walther is. Another thing is that people complain about with the VP9 is the wings right here. I'm going to tell you something right now. I am a fan of these wings right here. I'm very glad that they have those on there, because I've seen people with sweaty hands or whatnot. They come through and they can't, and their hands slip off. I think that works well. What a lot of people don't understand, forget about this is you can take these off if you do not like these little tabs or these wings right here. So you shouldn't be complaining too much. You have that option to take it off. Other than that, I think if they just upgrade it in some way, like I said, it's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and HK needs to start paying attention to that and start revamping things. Not let the consumer complain about things to revamp it. Be a little more innovative and just start doing things on your own instead of having the public cry out. I know Glock is famous for that, but at least Glock did some things with serrations. They tried to clean up their triggers, but still people replaced the triggers. Only that's about the only thing I could talk about with the HK VP9. I wish there was some way of revamping the VP9 where it can be up to par. But other than that, let me know in the comments what you would think would help upgrade the VP9. Like I said, I really like this firearm. I really shoot this well. And with that said, feel free to check out Core Essentials, their belts, their line, what they have with their accessories. Check them out, and you can use my code Keenan10, Keenan with the number 10, and then that way you'll get 10% off on all their belts and accessories. With that, happy shooting, stay safe, #2A.